Okay, for those people who think that their birds, like cockatiels and such, are getting night frights just because they don't like the dark, I have said this before, but I'm hoping that you will take this as an indication of what I'm saying is actually true. In my never to be humble opinion, 9 times out of 10, when your bird is suffering from night frights, it's because when the lights go out, roaches come out. I'm not kidding. Now, the cage I'm going to show you is a cage that has been kept very clean, and yet, even though the cage itself is kept clean, roaches get into the tubing. That's why a wire cage with a plastic bottom is actually easier to clean. It's less expensive and it's easier to clean. But the problem is with these fancy, nice, beautiful cages, 9 times out of 10, if you've ever had any roaches anywhere, they find their way into the tubing. Now, this will be disturbing to some people, but I've started breaking down to clean this cage. I boarded my birds, and when they came back, I had roaches. And I don't really blame the people that I boarded the birds with, okay? I don't blame them all at all. You have a lot of birds, you attract bugs. It's the way it's going to be, the way it's always been. It's the way that it's always going to be. Okay? You have to keep ahead of them. So right now, I'm going to show you what this clean cage with almost nothing in it is really like. Right here, roaches. 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 Almost all baby roaches. And don't try to tell me that the cage wasn't kept clean, okay? See, as I'm doing this, the tub is hot, okay? Nearly boiling water. See, that's where they live. They live down inside the tubes. Now they're trying to get away from all of this. See, even my perches are clean. Everything's clean. I regularly take the things out of the cage and clean it. But if you get one pregnant roach that lives inside the tube in any cage, and it doesn't take much for little tiny holes for roaches to get in them. So I highly recommend, for one thing, to have cages that are small enough that you can get them into your shower. The next thing I recommend is spray foam. And the reason I like this spray foam is you can fill all of these tubes so there's no place for them to live. But as I am going here, I am taking the cage completely apart. And see, more roaches are coming out. And all of these are young roaches, okay? That means that they have probably a pregnant female got in. As soon as he hits the hot water, he dies. They got into the tubes, laid eggs, and next thing you know, I have 1,000 little roaches. One of the things you can tell is if you look by the legs of your cage, you will notice something that looks kind of like pepper. That pepper is basically roach turds that they kick out of their cage to keep it clean. Okay, again, like I said, almost all of these are very tiny little baby roaches. So this particular cage, I have every intention of filling. See, there's another one that just crawled out. I have every intention of filling all the tubes with the great foam spray foam so that it gives them no place to live within the cage. I have one advantage. This particular cage is aluminum. Even though it's a heavy aluminum, it's still aluminum, which means it's not going to rust ever. So all I have to do at this particular point is make sure I kill them all off, fill it with foam. You have to wait several days for it to dry on an iron cage, preferably in the sun. But if you're not in the sun, then it might take even longer. You don't want to put the spray foam in while the cage tubes internally are still wet. It'll actually facilitate it rusting even faster. But anyway, I just thought I would show that. I'm going to finish dunking all of the tubes in the very hot water. And there will be absolutely no roaches living in this cage when I'm done. And any eggs will have been killed by the heat.